Hello, everybody. Hi, Charlene. Hi, Kim. Good to see you. Very interested to see this. Well, so am I, because this is the first time I'm painting a model this size, and it's also the first time I printed a 3D printed painting a 3D printed miniature. So this should be interesting. Okay, so for this is basically what we're going to be painting. It's a big boy. Okay, so before we start, let me just drop the link to the community showcase in the chat. So if anyone has anything to show us, they can drop it in Discord for later. And this miniature is from my friend Peter's Tales from Elsewhere Kickstarter. The Kickstarter has been over for some time now, but he's still accepting pledges for the PDF. So if you want to drop in and see what's in there, I'm just going to throw the link out here. Hi, Chris. Good to see you. Okay, so let's get to the painting. This, yeah, this is basically my Franken tripod. Okay, so this is the Kentucky Sawbones. I don't know how well you can see it right now because it's just painted black. It's basically a lot of arms in a long coat. Okay, so if I remember correctly, the in-game lore behind this is basically a manifestation of the fear of amputations. Just to give you an idea of what kind of game Clockworld is. And today I'm going to be trying to paint its dust turned hat at least. We do have the artwork from the game as a reference image. So just begin that a bit. And this is the kind of color I want to go with for the coat. Just going to make it tiny and leave it up here so we can all see it. Hey, Cross, good to see you. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is trying to give it a genital highlight. Very cool. Do you know if that would be the playable size? I think so because it's. I think Peter's intention was to have these creatures like horrendously large. Actually, let me get a 28 millimeter miniature to show it side by side. Okay, so obviously wrong genre of miniature because this is more like a Western horror thing, but this should give you an idea of the scale. Good morning, Lisa. Hope you're doing well. Okay, as I was saying, I'm going to try to give this a genital highlight first. So we're having some unusual weather these couple of weeks, and I just managed to get just enough time to, excuse me, give it a black spray prime. Usually I'd just do a genital with a spray can, but the weather was not cooperating yesterday. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use a makeup brush and do it the peasant way. That's too much paint. Okay, so for the gray, I'm going with ivory black and carnation pink. Now, that might sound like a bit of a strange combination, but I'm finding that this is pretty close to white. But it's barely visible on the thing, and it does make it a bit warmer. And since all this is going to be painted over with tan anyway, it should be a bit cleaner than stark white. Get some of that away because that is way too much. Okay, I see that Lisa mentioned Kim's prison video, which is indeed a very good video, and with a great storyline as usual. The weather here isn't snowy, but we're certainly lacking 3 degrees of temperature. As long as you're not frozen, it's fine. Cross. So, what's everyone working on today, or these days, or whatever? Started thinking about my next video. I was thinking of making some more templates, which I will do. But I was also thinking about the essence of crafting, which is basically not following the manufacturer's instructions. So I was thinking about making a couple of videos about misusing the templates that I made already to make different kinds of buildings. That should be interesting. Okay, I'm going to go with a floof makeup brush for the dry brush. Hey, Saltinic, good to see you. Yeah, okay, so I was just going to give our friend here some foundation and stuff. I was saying this is my first time painting miniature this size, and also I think no, it's not my first time painting 3D printed miniature, but the other ones I did were 10 mm scale, so this is going to be very different. Okay, I'm going a bit heavy with this. It's going to take a second to build up the color, but it's taking pretty nicely. Hey, Laura, say hi. So the one thing I will say about using a makeup brush to give a genital highlight as opposed to a spray can is that it creates a much softer effect. Usually the spray can will give you some very strong whites and almost no mid-tone. Here it's building up quite slowly. And I'm trying to be careful and only applying the brush on the downstroke because I'm trying to simulate light coming from above. Yes, Nick, this is exactly what is referred to as dry brushing. So basically, you load up the paint with the brush with paint, wipe most of it off on a piece of card or any rough surface, really, and then you just apply hundreds of very, 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 very thin layers. The great thing about it is that it tends to catch the edges really well, and if you're careful, you get kind of a built-in lighting effect. Where did I put my paint? More of this. Now, there are two ways to brighten up the color while you're dry brushing. First of all, is if you just keep dry brushing with the same color, the top layers will be a little brighter than the previous ones. So as you apply the color more lightly, it will just keep building up. The other way is obviously use a lighter color, which is what I'm trying to do here. Okay, so this is just going to be the kind of foundation, and then I'll be putting the base coat on top of this. So load it up, and again, I'm getting rid of most of the paint from the brush. Now, one side effect of dry brushing is that sometimes it can give you a kind of a dusty effect, but this kind of a Western horror thing, so yeah, dusty works perfectly. Okay, I don't know if you can see it at home, but on my screen at least I can see that the details are starting to show now. extra heavy on the head because that's the supposed to be the most illuminated part. Okay, now the face, the face is basically a bunch of hands. Barely got any paint on it at all, which is perfect because that mini is freaking out. It is, Lisa. It is. And there's another mini from this Kickstarter, which I'm going to show you later. It's freaking amazing. But anyway, I was saying the face here barely got any uh, thing to focus on it. Ah, there we go. Okay, there is very little paint on there, which is perfect because I want to try to do some object source lighting around the eyes later. Probably will not get to it in this stream, but that's the plan. Okay, so next I'm going with some raw sienna. I'm not trying to color match exactly, but basically it's just getting a rough approximation. Now, I don't know about you, but usually I find that taking the paint to the water lets me control the dilution better than taking the water to the paint. It shouldn't really make any difference, but somehow it does. Might just be a meeting. There to Call of Cthulhu, please prepare the altar. Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, it's like you would be a terrible host otherwise. Yeah. But just if that's the case, just give me a second. I'll just bring the menu over so you can see it. Okay, so this is the other miniature from the Kickstarter. I still need to clean some supports of the face area and stuff, but there we go. I mean, these miniatures look great, and the artwork for them looks fantastic as well. Just put this somewhere safe. Discipline. Yeah, I mean, it's best to be prepared. There's no point in having to do all the hard work cleaning if you can just avoid it with some time. Okay, now one of the things I want in this model is to have a lot of texture, and the print itself is quite smooth. So I'm just going to have to build it up with paint. And the way I'm going to try to do that is by stippling the thing. Okay, now just a warning: do not do this with your nice brushes. If you do this with your nice brushes, they will not be nice brushes by the end of it. Also, I know it looks very bright right now, but this goes quite a bit darker when it's dry. Also, right now, I'm not really worrying about not hitting the flash parts and so on. Those will be all painted over later. So the plan here is because this paint is rather thin, it should be fairly translucent. And we've already got those layers of gray under it, so that should be a start. But since I'm also going to be layering this on top of itself, layers of the Sawbones side, technically everything is identical. Kim. And any protuberance is identical. If, if you believe hard enough. Anyway, was saying, yeah, this is just going to be layered on top of itself, so we're going to get uh, patches of lighter and darker brown. At least that is what I hope. Usually it's okay with a 28 millimeter scale miniature, but I have no idea what it will look like on a larger surface. Karl, are you invoking King in Yellow vibe to this mini? To be honest, no, because I'm just following the reference artwork. Just begin this here, which is it's got kind of a ten duster and head, but it does have a very strong King in Yellow vibe. Yes, back to your corner. Okay, and you know, I will have to let this dry for a second to be able to put more layers. Otherwise, I'm just going to be moving wet paint around. Thanks. And yes, the idea is to give it depth with multiple layers, especially after I go onto it with lighter colors later. I might also put in some greens, maybe in some places, just to help it a little and give it some undertones. But what I'm really looking forward to is doing the stains and stuff. Of course, that's going to take a lot of layers. Now, one thing I want to be careful about is making sure that I don't get any large black areas where there should be light. Yeah, this mini holder is a vitamin bottle. This is also a vitamin bottle. This is also a vitamin bottle. This is also a vitamin bottle. But what I use for my 28 millimeter miniatures is mostly wine corks. Just saying. Trying to work off some of the paint here. Just get it to dry quicker. The stamina kind of takes care of itself. Yeah, it's fun. Or the stamina to play his bricks. The thing with bricks is that it is incredibly repetitive and can get mind numbing, but usually I just do it over like while listening to a podcast or while on a hangout or something. It's perfect. I don't even notice the time going by. At some point, the hands just go on autopilot. What I might do here is actually try to get a darker brown, since this is just going to be wet for a while anyway. They are indeed wonderful, Lisa. They are indeed wonderful. Okay, I'm going to go with a darker brown, but I'm going to mix it in with this so it's not so stark. And what should happen is that since the rest of the paint is still wet, it should blend in nicely. Yeah, let's do this. Basically, what we're looking for here is that it's not so wet that it will start running, but you don't want it so dry that it will leave a texture in the paint. If it's that thick, then it needs some water. Just noticed one of the details here is that I thought it was a clasp or something, but actually it's another small hand holding the coat closely. I just love Peter's style. He's absolutely terrifying in the nicest way possible. Normally I would say yes, but also that would I mean, this miniature has such strong vibes that would be happy to throw it off like that. But yes, it's absolutely very tempting. Okay, let's post a quick reminder here. So if anyone has anything they want to show in the community showcase later, they can drop it in here. I mean, I'm pretty sure there are thousands of hands under that code, so probably yes. That's how it's looking so far. And again, it's like this is 2 layers, so we're not even we've even barely got started here. Okay, next I'm going with this kind of reddish brown here. Just going to go around the edges and making some patches of undertone. And we'll see how that goes. Start somewhere out of the way. This could be dirt or patches of dried blood on him or whatever. Twenty 26, 111. Sec- no, there's a community showcase channel. Isn't that what I linked to? There's a community showcase channel that just before the 11 gender one. So if you can't find it, just let me know. I'll check it out. Do I want to risk a little green? Green. Hmm. I do, but I'm going to be very selective about it. I really like these huge tubes of paint, but one of the problems is just squeezing just enough to work with, so we don't waste too much, as you saw with the black paint earlier. So what I do sometimes is just use a lollipop stick to pull some paint out. You would think that the printing would be able to add more of a fabric texture to the escape. I mean, it's good, but again, it depends on the design and a bunch of stuff. So Nick, so if he's still in the chat, Nick might be able to tell us if that is a thing or not. I would suspect it's a strong maybe. Sculpting by hand is probably easier, but again, I don't know too much about uh, designing for 3D print. don't want the bright green. I just want a very muddy green here. Well, thank you. So with the green, I'm going to try to be a lot more selective because I only want it in the areas which would be in shadow. And again, this is just all going to be painted over in several layers again. So all this will do is just give it a bit more undertone. I hope. Yeah, this is definitely in the ugly face. And here's where we're at. Hey, David, what's up? Are you being crafted today, David? Yep, that is one creepiest character. So that many hands, I could get my projects done so much faster. Yeah, I don't think so because if I remember correctly, in Lord is supposed to be only left hands. But I might be wrong, but I might be misremembering it. So if you, unless you're left-handed, I think that would be very convenient. Okay, I might darken this with a wash later, but I like where this is going. So I wonder if the reason I like stippling is because it's literally just stabbing the thing over and over with the brush. Stab, 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 stab. Stab, 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 stab. Again, I mean, like the main problem with this technique is that it's literally super destructive on the brushes. What are the abilities of the Kentucky Sawbones? To be honest, right now I can't remember, but hopefully Peter will drop in later and we can ask him. I'm pretty sure terrifying people is high on that list. I mean, this looks so good that I'm going to need to find an excuse to use it in another game. Like, come on, for example, this would look fantastic in Call of Cthulhu or Call of Cthulhu or Dreadful Doomscapes. I mean, like it fits right in. You know what? What I think it would be really good at that shell game that they do where you have to guess which shell the you call it the ball is under. You could do it like with 36 shells at once. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure he would also be a very good dog walker. I think all the leashes could be handling at that time, at one time. Okay, so I'm adding back some gray and green, sorry, some brown and green here and there, just to increase the textures on the stuff. Next, I think I will going to need to get a smaller brush. Because of the following layers, I'm just going to need to be more careful where I put the paint. Okay. So I need a semi-shitty brush. I need one that has a precise enough point. Yeah, this will do perfectly. Precise enough point, but is practically destroyed already. These two will do. I mean, uh, what do you think he should do as a career? I'm pretty sure he would be really good at answering emails and stuff like that. Yeah. Wait, that I can see that working. Okay, now get a bit more precise. I switched to a smaller brush, but I also need to put far less pressure on it, so it doesn't spread the paint as far. I'm just going to want to go over these areas. Now, I was thinking about this technique when I was painting the design for the NI bit last time, because I used that quite a lot for the board, and I thought this would be a great way to paint leather. And so far, I'm quite liking it. Would I do it on a 28 millimeter model? No way. This one seems to be working really nicely. fix your camera focus. Yeah, I'm going to try it. Camera, camera, camera. There. Let's remove the autofocus and see how that goes. Yeah, my says would definitely work. Okay, so I just need to remember to keep my hand somewhere in this area. Okay, so one of the things about this is that because it's so diluted, it's translucent, so it's just literally adding a bunch of layers on top of each other and seeing how they interact. But also need to keep in mind that the wet paint is a lot brighter than the light paint, so what you see here might not always be what you get in the end. So far, this is pretty dry, so it should be pretty close. I will need to correct that part because there's way too much paint on there. I think it's looking pretty good. Something that always baffles me is how to highlight edges of worn fabric that have darkened with age. Well, you mean making them lighter color, you mean? Because what you could do is, I'm going to do this in a second after I finish here. Because one of the things you could do, for example, is paint the fabric normally and then just stipple the edges with a very light dark gray. Just make sure it's very diluted, but it should look like it's like kind of darkened a bit. Sorry, faded a bit. I think I might just be too heavy-handed with the highlight. It always turns out looking like mud instead of highlight. It depends. I think one of the things that makes a lot of difference is also what color you use to highlight. For example, one mistake a lot of people make is just mixing white into the paint to make it lighter, and that doesn't really make it lighter. It just desaturates it. So, for example, if you want to highlight red, don't mix white and red because that's just going to give you pink. You need lighter red instead, a lighter base color. Same thing with the black. If you want to darken something, don't go with black. But in that case, you have a few more options because you can just use what do they call them? Color on the other side of the palette of the color wheel. Sorry. Contrast. Uh, a contrasting color, I guess. Yeah, yeah. I think that's it. But don't quote me on that. Plus, of course, I mean, if you just splooge the highlight color over everything, then yeah, it is going to look a bit messy anyway. But that is something that you can control. Whereas if you're just using the wrong color to begin with, then you have no control. You're just working against yourself. Okay, can you see where it's going so far? Now, for example, speaking of highlights, one of the things I'm going to do here is I'm not going to highlight it with a brighter color just yet. I'm just going to go over it with the exact same color. Again, because layering 2 thin layers of the same color over itself will just make it brighter. So I don't need to add anything to it just yet. course, I need to be very careful. Yeah, I am very quiet today. That's how you can tell I'm being very serious. That is a very powerful image. Although I can just as easily imagine him just stepping out of the shadows and stuff like that. Like, does it need to run anywhere? He just shows up as a, okay, Lisa, you have a good day. Bye, Libra. Yeah, oh, thank you. I want to put in a few layers of this, and I'm wondering if I should put a sepia wash on top later just to blend it more in, but that will have to wait, and it's probably going to be after the stream because otherwise we'll all just going to be here washing paint, right? I definitely got too much paint here, so I'm just going to move it around. It's still a bit too bright, but we can work on that. So every time I'm adding another layer, I'm just being careful to stay within the bounds of the previous ones. And after this, I'm going to go with a fine. I'm going to call it a final layer for now, but that's basically going to be a slightly lighter one. And that's going to go within the bounds of that. Step, 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 the camera is probably munging up the picture a bit, so it's not very visible, but I'll post a photo of it later. Yeah, where do we need more of this? Much? So yeah, that's what the yeah, this. I mean, you could get something similar with lots of dry brushing, but what I'm after here is not just creating the folds, it's just literally building a texture into it. it's worth spending more time on the head specifically because it's since it's covering so much of the model from the top, and it's one of the most visible parts when it's on the table. Then if you mess up the head, then it's like everything else will have a harder time looking good. Usually, it's the face or any focus area, but in this case, the head is definitely where some of the focus is going to be. Okay, how is that looking? Okay, just want to add just one more highlight layer for now. Might be coming back with more, but yeah, going back with the same carnation pink from earlier and mixing it in with the base color, which is the rose sienna. I'm always going back to that rose sienna. Okay, using the same brush as earlier, there's no point in cleaning out the brush because I just want them to blend in anyway. No, this is a lot brighter than the rest, but again, I am planning to wash over this, so that should even out quite a bit. And also, one thing I'm trying to avoid here in all this process is having a single clean straight line. because that would kind of defeat the point of creating more texture. Start put some background background music on these streams. I'll try to remember that for next one. Okay, so one thing you have to watch out is that when you have large flat areas, for example, there's a patch over here. You need to be very careful about breaking that up because even if it's the exact same color, a larger area of it will look a lot brighter. So you kind of just need to break it up a bit more. Oh, and just to be clear, I have absolutely no idea what I'm doing overall. So let's see where this goes. One of the good thing of using paints that are this thin, that it's super easy to paint over them later if I have to. That's probably something I should have said at the beginning of the stream, not an hour and a half in. But here we are. It's okay. Now that I think about it, I wonder what his coat is actually made out of because I don't think they have like H&M's or whatever at in the underworld or wherever. They're like a emo for demons or something like that. On the hat, I'm going to be focusing mostly on the brim, but I do want to keep a couple of spots on the inside, just to keep the texture as irregular as possible. And on the sides, I mostly want to be going over the top part and any raised areas. Okay, so probably won't be able to do much more work on this right now because I need to put up let it dry properly and put on the washes. But what I'm going to do before I do that is put on some splashes of blood. Because why not? Of course, I have to find my blood color. 1 second. Okay, so primary magenta. This still works because it's been in the tube for a couple of years. Yeah, it still works. It's still good. Now that looks very bright, but I think if we mix it with the brown plus the fact that it's going to be washed over, I think it might be okay. Because we don't want super fresh blood on this thing. It's like worn and if I don't paint on my fingers. Sorry about that. So what I would like to do basically is have some. Oh no! I would have some darker blood. Look like it's been on the coat for some time and dried up there and stuff, and maybe some splashes of brighter red to make it look like it's kind of fresh. So here seems like a good spot. I always find that making bloodstains and stuff on models, it's always tricky because you cannot be too subtle, otherwise it's not going to be visible. But also you don't want to completely drench the thing because then it looks super unrealistic and weird. I mean, I know we're talking about this guy who's got like 3 billion hands or stuff. There's also the toothbrush thing you could do with this to make it a bit more of a splatter, but I don't want to get red paint all over my laptop and my my wall. So basically, the toothbrush trick, in case anyone does not know that, do I have brush trick? Yes, I do. So basically, it's getting wet paint on a brush and then flicking it, and that's a good way to do a spray of stuff. Don't do it near anything that you don't want to be covered in paint because it gets absolutely everywhere. Bad, I think. Not go over with some slightly darker blood. Yeah, I think I like this. Maybe maybe just for some dirt. Go back with the black. See if this will work out. give it some extra undertones. Hmm, I think that's a good place to call it a day for today. So we're going to look at the community showcase soon, and what I'm going to be doing with this is to leave it to dry for a couple of hours, and then go over it with a sepia wash, and then leave it to dry for a couple of days. And yeah, I'll see where that goes from there. Okay, and yeah, maybe actually I'm going to post a photo of it in Discord just so that we can see how it looks like, rather than having this weird camera thingy. So please bear with me for a second. Okay, so Discord. Okay, this week would be nice. Here. Oh, got some over to community showcase. So nothing in there, but I can show you the what it looks like from the back and from the front. So the those bright spots should get knocked down a fair bit when it gets switched over, and you're going to get a lot of those deep textures just going upward. Hopefully, the blood with the short was kind of a dried blood kind of thing, but I'm just going to go over it with another layer, so we have the fresh one as well. And yeah, after that, it's just a case of painting the flesh. Okay. So yeah, I think I guess that's it for today. I'll hopefully going to be continuing this next week, same bedtime and same bed channel. And yeah, as I said, I'm going to do the wishes in between, so we don't have to waste time in next stream just waiting for that today. That's what she said. Sorry about that. I had to. It's like the law or something. Anyway, thank you all for hanging out today, and I hope you found something useful. And yeah, catch you next week. Bye.